They live to play another day. They have the momentum, but my question to you all is, who still is in the better position? Who has the advantage? I mean, it's not like the Giants are facing elimination. They're still at home. They're still ahead in the series. The Nationals obviously, feel good about themselves. Which team's position would you rather be in, Neil? Start with you on that one.
Well, for this next game, I mean, being at home, you have to give the nod to the Giants slightly. I mean, I still think it's going to be a close series. But over the next couple games, I do think the Nationals have the pitching that they can pull it out. But there is no tomorrow if they lose. So I would say I'd rather be in the position of the Giants right now.
And Scott, how about you?
Yeah, still would rather be up 2-1 as the Giants are at home with the chance to close it out. But the Game 3 win was just huge in that you got by their ace. You somehow got to Madison Bumgarner. It took an error to do it, but you got that win, and now you're facing Ryan Vogelsong, who scares nobody. And you're coming back with Gio and then Strauss and Zimmerman, or perhaps a combination in the next 2 games. Possibly going back to Washington.
Vogelsong, though, was on the mound a couple years ago when they were facing elimination, pitched 5 strong innings. They went on to win that game. So, yeah, he's not Baumgartner, obviously, but I think they have confidence in him. But, Dan, we talked about momentum, but it's not like the Nats, all of a sudden, their bats came alive, right? It wasn't like what the Cardinals did to Kershaw. I mean, they got an error. It was kind of a fluke play, let's be honest about it.
They scored 2 runs.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 runs on a bunt from a guy who hadn't bunted since 2011.
Right.
And that's like what if you'd said, by far the best offensive play that the Nationals will have in Game 3 of the series comes on a Wilson Ramos bunt, you probably wouldn't feel very optimistic about it. And then they got another run after that on a ground ball single from Cabrera. They got the big home run from Bryce Harper, which gave them a little bit of breathing room. But I think when we talk about the keys moving forward for the offense, they need Worth and LaRoche and Desmond in the middle of that lineup to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters that they were all year. And they've kind of been a black hole in these 3 games. Obviously, it's only 3 games, but you can't. I mean, they're not gonna have long-term success if Worth and LaRoche and Desmond aren't doing anything in the middle of the lineup.
But I mean, psychologically, though, even they had scored 3 runs in 27 games. Doesn't it make a huge difference, no matter how they get them, that they got the runs on the board and they're thinking, okay, maybe we can build something off this? I mean, is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's probably fair. I think that probably gives them a little bit more. I mean, whatever, people talk about pressure in a series. Who knows? I sort of do buy the argument that the Giants are under a bit of pressure in this game because they don't want to get on a flight, fly across the country, and have to listen to, are they going to blow a 2-0 lead stories. They obviously don't want to do that. And they were even saying explicitly, we don't want to have to go back to Washington. No one here wants to get on that plane again. And so I think that if the Nats can get out to an early lead, I think probably there would be a little bit of pressure on the Giants.
But you're saying you'd still rather be in the Giants situation right now going into Game 4?
I think that if I had to pick a winner in Game 4, I would slightly favor the Nats. I think if I had to pick a winner in Game 5 based on the matchup, I would slightly favor the Nats. But for the series, I guess it still just seems more likely that the Giants will be able to pull out one game.
Do you favor the Nats?
For right now, I think I'd put it 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I really like the Nationals' chances in Game 4. And then coming back in the playoffs, home field advantage hasn't really been there for the Nationals in the playoffs. That's a small sample size as well, 2 years. But, I mean, we've seen them lose a Game 5 at home just 2 years ago, so that's kind of fresh in mind. But with those pitchers, as we talked about, with being able to go to Zimmerman and Strasburg, potentially, maybe both of them in Game 5, against Tim Hudson or Jake Peavy or whoever the Giants tried out there, I think in that case, I would favor the Nats by a little bit.
And based on Washington's recent sports history, by far the most predictable outcome would be that they win Game 4, come home, and everyone's all excited. They get out to an early lead, and then they blow it and lose in heartbreaking fashion.
Maybe
that would
19
follow.
innings.
That would follow
19 or
tradition.
20
Yeah,
innings.
19 or 20 innings.